I've got 5 tactics that I'm going to share with you right now, exactly what I personally have used to outsmart the LinkedIn algorithm. Why? Because I don't worry about the LinkedIn algorithm. I focus on people. I focus on my community. So what's number 1? Number 1 for me is probably the most important thing that I want to share with people. And number 1 is on LinkedIn, you have to stay mindful that what goes around comes around, as my nan always says. And what do I mean by that? The more that you support other people, the more that they support you. I do an enormous amount of work behind the scenes, lots of commenting strategically, lots of supporting and turning up at other people's events, sharing about that, supporting new book launches, posting, helping. And these are people that may not necessarily ever be my clients. But I can also assure you that these are the same people that show up and support my posts. And it's the law of reciprocity, which is probably one of the hardest words I'll have to say today. But it is literally as simple as if you go out and are supportive of other people, they are going to do the same for you. That has such a multiplier effect when you've built a niche community, because not only are you leveraging their community in your industry, they are also going to help give you support. And with that support, it then means that you get seen by 2nd-degree connections and 3rd-degree connections, those people you haven't met yet, which I think is just the most amazing thing. But it only works when you're targeted. Make sure you bring in that focus. And even if you keep narrowing it over time, don't go too narrow that you don't actually end up with a market of people that can buy from you, because that is the last thing that we want in B2B, and especially when we're trying to grow a business. But laser focused. And I can assure you that if you haven't done the work up front to write out a game plan and have those targets in mind, your activity on LinkedIn will be pointless. Why? Because you're going to be creating content with nobody in mind or everybody in mind, which can be equally as harmful. So back to this again. What goes around comes around. Great advice from my nan. It's something that I just think is a good thing in life. And I hope that you guys are that way minded anyway. But ultimately, just go out there, support other people. They will support you. Let's go to number 2. And number 2 for me probably goes against the grain of what you see out there by some of the big creators. So the Gary V's, the Alex Hormozis, all of theirs speaks to being everywhere, quantity over quality. And I just look at that and I think, if I had a team of 100 people that were creating everything for me, we'd be having that conversation where I'd be like, go team, let's go quantity. But the reality is most businesses do not have unlimited resources, and we have to choose where we best spend our time. Now, I choose to spend my time on LinkedIn because that is where my audience is. B2B businesses are on LinkedIn. I choose backup platforms, and from that, I make sure that I'm really good at what I do on those platforms. And just recently, I wrote a post about mastery comes from simplification. If you are trying to be great at LinkedIn, great at TikTok, great at Instagram, have a podcast, write a book, run a business, all of these kinds of things, if you try and do it all too soon, what happens is you'll be overwhelmed, exhausted, and just not do anything really well. Now, I was guilty of that. I was on Twitter and Instagram, which they're just not for me, and my audience isn't there. And so I was investing time in places that it was a waste, absolute waste, no other words for it. By stripping things back and keeping things simple and narrowing my focus to where my audience were, where my community I'd built, and doing more effort on there, this is another reason why my numbers just keep climbing. I have cut back on the number of posts. I cut back and I tell my clients to cut back on the number of posts. And yet my numbers have still gone up. Why? Because I create things that I know my community wants, that I know are going to drive those conversations on my topic. I'm not under the pressure to just create quantity for quantity's sake. I don't have that pressure anymore. So I create things that I absolutely love. And that resonates with other people. that simple. That's why other people enjoy it, because they know I'm enjoying what I'm creating. Third one. Now, this is one I have to confess myself that over time, there are days or months where I've strayed off course while I was trying to figure some stuff out. And number 3 for me aligns back to what LinkedIn told us they want for the algorithm. And that is stay on topic. Please, anybody that is listening, just because ChatGPT, AI are the topic du jour at the moment, please don't go off on a tangent, because here's what happens. It confuses people. I have people that I can't refer business to anymore because I just am not certain what they actually do. They talk about so many different things that I'm a bit confused about. Maybe the business has changed, or maybe it wasn't what I thought it was in the first place. And so I want people to just stick in your lane, talk about what you're really good at. And it doesn't matter if it's a small audience, it's going to be an engaged audience. I began my career on LinkedIn talking about chemicals and beauty. And the more I spoke about just that topic, the more I attracted the right kinds of people. And of course, the opportunities came, more new product inquiries, more sales. I can honestly, hand on heart, tell you that by doing this, I ended up with a $2 million order from a LinkedIn post. That is absolutely crazy to think about. But if I got sidetracked talking about things that weren't in my core area, it would never have happened, because people would have left and gone, this girl, she's everywhere. So stay on topic. It's so easy to get sidetracked and want to talk about LinkedIn because we're on LinkedIn. Save it for people like me. There's enough of that noise that's going on the platform. We don't really need any more. And I think people are probably nodding their head going, yep, I don't know. I think it's one of those things on LinkedIn is one of those platforms that navel gazes more than any of the other social sites. Number 4 is something that is near and dear to my heart. And it's something that if you're listening in and you follow my content, you'll have noticed that I'm starting to do this more and more. And it is, people, get off the fence. I am so tired of every post and every comment in my feed, everybody agreeing with each other, everybody regurgitating, everybody high-fiving the same regurgitated viral posts that you can go and get these templates and just copy and paste and put on your posts. Enough. Tools that we're using were not designed so that you would sound like everybody else. It is okay for you to have an opinion on LinkedIn. I encourage it. I do not care what industry or subject matter expert you are. Every industry has a thing that is a topic that will at least go and get people arguing for and against on both sides. Now, for me, I come from the beauty industry, so quite often it's around clean beauty as a topic, for and against. And there's probably a gray area in the middle where most people sit. Start to have those kind of conversations that matter in your industry. Don't be afraid to be on the anti to the popular. This isn't about trying to come across as, messing with your brand. It's just, can we have real conversations that matter? And you will not do this unless you actually start to have real conversations on real topics and express your opinion. So I'm just going to call it, I'm just going to leave it out there. Just please, can we start having some original, authentic conversations on the platform? I want you to stand up for what you believe in. You are a subject matter expert. Share that with people. Bring them along on the journey. You might actually inspire other people. You might teach them. Educating people is one of the privileges that we have on this platform, but not if we just say the same thing as everybody else. I'm going to jump off my soapbox again on that one. Number 5 is I want you to bring your A game onto LinkedIn, not the version of you that is half turning up. Not the version of you that doesn't think that it's really going to work anyway. Mindset's such a big piece. but it also means content and reach and engagement specifically on LinkedIn is such a small piece of this puzzle that imagine you've got posts that go out and then someone comes across to your LinkedIn profile, which you haven't updated the about section in probably 5 years. And even when you did, you just plonked a bit of stuff on there. You've also got your work experience. Oh, you couldn't be bothered putting any detail in there, so you just put your job titles and that was about it. You haven't got any recent recommendations. Your profile photo hasn't been updated in over 8 years, which is a recent story, but not my record. 20 years is the oldest LinkedIn photo that I have come across with a client. These are the kinds of things that we have to show up. And again, not everything is all about the post that you do. Because if someone sees the post and they go and look for more information, what are they going to find? Most of the time when I'm working with new clients and rewriting and optimizing their LinkedIn profiles, the person I have a conversation with and a discovery call with versus the person they present on LinkedIn with their profile could not be further apart if they tried. And for those of you who don't want to be the center of attention or don't want to talk about themselves, it's not about that. It is literally your credibility that you have earned and your experience that will help support other people to grow just as much. And there's some really amazing experts out there that are hiding in the shadows that I'm on a mission. I'm coming to look for you so that your LinkedIn profile reflects who you are, where you want to go, and how you can help people. And what has been amazing is I've found that when people are confident in their profile, then they start to share their content as well and start to build their community. So it doesn't matter which way you go, but please make sure that your profile, your company page, that all of them really present things in the best way possible. This is what I have personally done over the last 12 months. These are exactly the things that I do. I have rewritten my own personal profile. I'd neglected it. I'd put everybody else, all of my clients forward. You'll notice that my content now starts to call out some stuff that I don't agree with. Things that have been really pressing my buttons, not in a way that's at the cost of somebody else, but in a way that I want other people to start thinking. We're going for staying on topic. Don't get led astray. Quality over quantity. We are not Gary V's of this world. Make sure that what you do counts. And of course, what goes around comes around. These are my 5 tips that I have used personally that have been at the root of how I've been able to grow my content over 850% growth. It's not just for me. It's available there for you just as much. I hope that you have walked away with this thinking that everything is actually in your control. Your mindset that you bring into this, the quality that you put out, the community that you build, this is all in your control. So you don't have to worry about cheap algorithm hacks. You don't have to worry about, is it 2 hashtags or 1 hashtag or no hashtags? Ignore all of that. Community, content, and conversations. That is your answer, my friends. I appreciate you all listening. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. So on that note, I wish everyone well. Cheers to B2B growth.